We got a special guest, man. We got Miss Blue walking around the hub today. What kind of dog is she again?
Pomsky.
Pomsky.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you a dog person?
Yeah. I like dogs, but I'm more of a cat person. But I'll still fuck with the dogs every once in a while.
Justin, you a dog or cat person?
A little bit in between.
Between?
Like both.
That's
Yeah.
a beautiful dog, man. Blue. That shit we
Blue. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna avoid the camera.
Yeah.
just
A
chilling.
little
chilling.
camera shy.
So earlier we was talking and I brought up Doomsday. Now I seen a couple of the clips all over social media and people were going crazy over Doomsday. It's supposed to be coming out when?
Next year, I think 2025 is what they said. Like it'll probably come out like later in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, are you into the films? Is that
A little
there's
bit, not as much anymore, but yeah,
Really?
I enjoy them. Like it's like fun. They always have a fun vibe to them. And actually, I just saw with my parents love them too, so I went and saw The Last Guardians of the Galaxy with my parents, and that was fun.
What's your favorite one?
I honestly like the original Avengers,
Original
the first
Avengers.
one, and Iron Man. Thor Ragnarok too. I say those are my three most watched.
I gotta catch up, man. Like every time I see them come out, I feel so behind.
Yeah.
There's so many movies, man.
There is a lot, and then it's like
It's a
which
whole
ones-
universe of movies.
Yeah, then it's like what order you gotta watch them in a certain order too.
I heard you gotta watch I heard the order is so crazy, right? That you can watch the TV shows within the movie mix, and it all will make sense.
Yeah,
That's how you know you have like the best franchise. But you can put the TV shows
Yep.
in the mix of the movies versus like you watch one movie, then one. It's like no, my sister, she's into it.
Yeah.
So she was like, no, you gotta watch this one, and then you gotta watch this show on Netflix, and this one on Disney Plus. Then the movie, and it all will make sense. I'm like, I'm behind. I'm still on the first.
yeah.
Iron Man. Jeremy, what's your favorite?
I honestly prefer Age of Ultron and Winter Soldier, which is Captain America and Avenger movies.
So I mean,
of the two.
I'm trying to figure out which one that was, man. Like, man, I don't know where to start
Yeah,
at.
there's a lot, man.
If you go on Disney Plus, they have like timeline order of everything
Oh, yeah,
from
that's
it starts at I think it's like Captain Marvel all the
Shows
way.
included?
Yeah, it'll have everything.
Really?
Even the little shorts, because there's like little shorts in between each movie sometimes explaining like different things that you might have questions with, and those are all included with it too.
Justin, have you ever been asked to like design a superhero or art similar to that? Like,
No, they did have a superhero show here though, but I didn't do it. I didn't know what to come up with. Like I could do something, but I really have to put a lot of focus into it and stuff. But I've never tried to design a hero or.
what's the wildest? Do you get requests like to do certain type of art or?
I get requests for like stuff I've done already. Like I've done like a sculpture of Venus flytrap that people wanted. So stuff like that. Like I do a lot of installation art or a lot of sculptural type stuff.
What's been your favorite? Your personal favorite of what you've done?
That was actually one of my favorites because
Yeah.
I'm sort of obsessed with Venus flytraps and I like making sculptures. And that was a lot of it is messing around with materials and learning how to use them. And it was like I used PVC pipe, but then I had to learn how to bend it. So you had to put like hot sand into it and bend it so it doesn't kink.
What's the obsession with Venus flytrap?
I don't know. I always have liked them. Like I think it was like when I was younger, we watched
Little Shop of Horrors.
horrors a lot. Yeah.
I knew it.
So that
knew
was
it.
definitely the catalyst there.
That was an eccentric Venus flytrap.
Yeah.
He was singing jazz, and that
Yeah.
was a dope one.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, do you have any weird obsessions? Not weird, but like interesting obsessions. I don't mean to talk about your Venus flytrap.
How dare you?
How dare you call it weird? Do you have an obsession, Jeremy?
I mean, besides like my little nerdy stuff, not really. I mean, I'm a big fan of owls. I have like I collect like different owl statues and stuff every once in a while when I can find them.
So did you take it personal when Kendrick beat Drake?
No,
Because you know the owls, OVO.
more of a like a snowy owl. That's more of a. I don't even know what you would call the OVO owl.
My obsession, Legos. I really like that feeling of putting something together and like picking it apart. But I just love that feeling of how you feel when you finish it.
Yeah, completionist, like just
Yeah, man. There's so many pieces. Usually you get intimidated by the number, but once you just put it together, you just want to do more and more and more and more. So I see a Transformers one and a Batmobile one that I want to grab. So I would say that's kind of
Yeah, the big ones right now are the botanical ones. Everyone loves the
Yeah, I've been seeing
those right now.
hype beasts.
Yeah.
Everyone's on the wave now.
Yeah.
Y'all wasn't with us back in the day when it was just one Lego man. Now
Yeah.
everybody wants to do it. Just another thing, man. When I first started coming to the hub, we vibed and we connected through music.
Yeah.
You're a big hip hop head. Like
I am. I definitely grew up in the 90s and 90s hip hop. Like, I was a skater back then too, so our biggest music forms were either punk rock and 90s hip hop. They were just go hand in hand with skate culture and stuff like that growing up.
I was gonna say your playlist went crazy, but I should probably say your cassette deck or your
Yeah,
tape deck.
I have tons of cassettes. I don't know where they're at. I still have them somewhere. I still remember having Redman, There's a Dark Side. It was a red cassette. That was cool. And just like,
I love talking to like music lovers in that time period that actually lived it.
Yeah.
Because like when they talk about their cassettes, I'm like, so what you finna do with them? Like, can I have them?
yeah, I wish I knew where they're at. I have no idea where I put them. I have
No.
my parents somewhere. I know that, but
So what's on your playlist? Like, what's on your mix?
oh man, I made what's called the 90s hip hop playlist on my Spotify, and there's just so much stuff on there. Something current, I just added on there, but it's like a mix. I just put on shuffle, and then stuff comes up, and it could be anything from 90s, 2000s to current.
Little KRS One on there.
Love KRS.
Gotta have some KRS on
Yeah.
there, man. And you said you was a skater.
Yeah.
So who are your favorite skaters?
Well, back in the day, it was like there's a skater named Ray Barbie. There was man, who was there? Of course, Tony Hawk was the GOAT.
The
Always
GOAT.
the top. There was man, I can't remember most of the skaters. There were so many. Ed Templeton, he's an artist too now. He still does art. Who else was back then? Man, there was a lot.
So were you interested in art during those times too?
Yeah, background-wise, my grandmother was a watercolor painter, abstract landscape painter, so I got influenced by that when I was young. And then my uncle, who went to school for English, was interested in sculpture, so he started working with more wood and woodcraft stuff. And when I was a teenager, I'd work in his studio, so I learned how to use all the woodworking tools and stuff like that, and helped anything from sanding to cutting stuff for his business and stuff.
Building
so.
sculptures, like doing all of that?
Yeah, he was doing just more small scale stuff, just more home decor type stuff, and he still does that to this day and does really well.
How old were you around that time, like when you were doing
I
those?
say 14 or 15.
14, 15?
Yeah, but I started painting when I was 9, just always did it. I focused in art in high school. And then when I originally started college, I started as a painting or art education with a focus in painting. And then over the years, I went on and off, and I switched to sculpture once I got better grades in that, and I liked it more. And once I started working with the wood tools again, I really liked doing that.
So I know I asked you about your sculptures, but what's been one of your favorite art pieces that you've done that just comes to mind right now?
It comes to mind, when I accomplish a painting, that's a big deal. It takes me a long time to paint. We did a, what was it, like a Cosmos show? So I did a painting there, and I use a lot of historical references and stuff, and I was interested in I used different images in my work. So the one was I got a picture of a nebula from NASA, so I used that in it. I took an old Mason and sort of made him, instead of being like into the occult, more UFO occult like, and then I put a time period accurate telescope, and it was just cool to do those pieces and add them together, and it makes for an interesting painting. And then I put it painted on top of it's called upholstery fabric with it's called a French pastoral scene. So it gives it like a unique look and stuff. So I like challenging myself to do stuff and try to finish a painting, and everyone seems to like it and get compliments on it, and it turned out well.
I noticed since being here, a lot of the artists, they use different materials. That's one thing I've learned since seeing the other artists at the hub. What has been like one of your most interesting or favorite materials that you've used in your art?
I always tend to I do stuff that deals with like environmental waste and environment when it comes to sculpture. I just like using real trees, and I try to be, I actually go to my parents a lot because they've been trying to get rid of like the foliage and stuff around, but I tend to use like trees and plants from my home where I grew up, and then I also combine them with different computer parts or wire. So I tend to use those objects. So I do things that deal with like man-made versus nature-made. So anything that's technological, that's sort of outdated, and I can mix it with plants, anything living or was living. So I tend to like to use those two
Try to
materials
combine
together.
too. That's dope.
Yeah, so it's sort of just gives it an interesting meaning and look.
Who been some of your inspirations, like art wise?
Man, I got to think of sculptors. Louise Bourgeois was a sculptor, and she did a lot of personal stuff. So I sort of like that idea of personal, where I use stuff like from the land where I grew up on, the property I grew up on. There's a David Outschmed, who's a pretty big artist right now. He uses more craft-like materials, but he makes like realistic, bizarre people and stuff. He's interesting. There's so many. Painting-wise, I grew up liking Impressionist stuff and Henry Matisse, and then more modern today is like Neo Rausch is a German painter. There's a little movement called figurative painting where people paint figures in their paintings. They don't have to be realistic or anything, but they sort of show through either like just move or just their pose or just what they have in the background, like some sort of feeling or try to convey some sort of message.
How would you describe your art? Like if you could give it a label.
I do. It's almost surreal. I like the surrealist too. I'd say a lot of my stuff is painting is very surreal because it's like I use these different images that are really bizarre, and you sort of have to work to understand what they are. A little bit of figurative painting. I do figures in my painting, and sculpture is more. The style is called installation art. So basically, what I do is I come up with the concept, and then I'll go and have ideas sketched out for it, and I'll work with the space. Like the last show I did downstairs was Welcome to Gaiyu, and Gaiyu is a big e-waste city in China where people were just, companies were just dumping their old computer stuff, and the people there are poor, and they're just stripping apart these pieces to make some money out of the copper or whatever. Yeah. And I just like to raise awareness about that. So I'll go down there, work with the space, and once again, I got a tree from my parents, and I worked that into it, wires. Then I just did some pieces that dealt with images from Gaiyu that I found. The one was a worker that his hands were all silver from picking the wires and stuff, and his hands were like this. So I did a little sculpture. I cast my hands, and I put them like that, and I painted them silver. And then I had wires that were silver hanging down from them to represent that photo. What? Gaiyu, China.
Nice. How'd you find out about that?
I think just over time, I just got interested in e-waste, and honestly, I wasn't interested in it right away. A long time ago, Michelle Walks, who's a local artist in the area, and this was like 15, 20 years ago, she was doing a recycling project with kids. And she had a bunch of computer parts that were already stripped down. I didn't have to do anything. The motherboards were out. The wires were all. And I figured just be like a box or two. It was like 10 to 20 boxes full of already pre-stripped computer parts, wires, which I still have to this day. I'm getting down to the bottom of it. And then from there, I think I just was starting to research and come up with ideas like, how can I do this? I just see this waste. I think that just brought it to mind. Like, look at this junk that has no purpose anymore, that's outdated. And I think just through having that and researching like, oh, what happens to all this waste, that I discovered that, because it's actually just a really hot topic, is e-waste. And that was the only city that came up because people photographed it and stuff.
So the city basically is like a dump for that type of waste.
Well, not anymore apparently, which means they don't probably let the media in anymore.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I think it's on the southeast side, so it's along the ocean or so they can just get it right in there. And
so it's affecting the area, like the waste.
Yeah, the water and stuff. And I usually do stuff about water too, and I put like this silver paint in the water when I did a project before. Oh yeah, the water quality's terrible. The people are just poor. It's a poor city, and they're just like trying to strip it to make money.
So the environment also inspires your art as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's dope. I like that.
Yeah.
That's real cool. See, that's something new. Like every time I find out a new place, I got to find out more about it, because China has so many different places. But I didn't know it was a city that was affected by e-waste.
Yeah.
Never heard of that before.
Yeah, just crazy. Just start doing research. I do a lot of research and just discovered it. And
I dig that.
Yeah, just crazy what you find.
What's been another discovery you've made besides Gaiyu? Have you ever made any other discoveries that inspired your art?
I think just being out in nature. I grew up, like I was a Boy Scout when I was younger. And I think I just notice things, and I just, I always take things in, and I just see something that's really inspirational or gives me an idea. Reading a lot. I like reading and researching. I'm always reading contemporary art books about artists and what they're doing. There's so many great artists out there, and there's like right now we're in a really global market art-wise. So there's artists all over the world, and you can't like you're getting all these influences from all over, and it's like amazing to see what's going on because there's no real clear direction or style of art right now. It's just global. There's everything. I say if anything's big right now art-wise, it's like a lot of female artists, female painters right now are real big. They're really getting represented really well in the art market and stuff like that. So there's influences all around. It's hard to keep up with stuff, and I just go from what I know when I do stuff. Like I enjoy this, and like when I'm doing the painting right now, I'm doing a painting, and I was trying to figure out what the Buddha character, like what should I make him that. Then I found they just were releasing Ultraman cartoon on Netflix, and I like the idea of the '60s Ultraman. I put the costume. I actually have pictures of him in my studio where I put the costume on. I'm doing a piece that's called Anicca, which is a Buddhist principle of nothing stays the same, everything's always changing, and they relate it to like a river, where a river is always moving. It looks the same, but underneath, like everything's always changing. So I'm trying to do things that represent change and.
When do you plan on finishing this?
Yeah, I don't know. Soon.
You don't know?
I don't know. Slowly but surely.
Jeremy, do you have any favorite artists or graphic designers that you've been looking at?
I can't really say that I've ever like researched into like anybody specific, honestly. So I can't really say.
Man, besides the artists at the Hub, some of my personal favorites, I like Ernie Barnes. I don't know if you ever seen Good Times, but the art that was in the show, he drew that art.
Was that on the cover of
Marvin Gaye has an album called After the Dance, and he did the cover for that. But if you see some Ernie Barnes, you would know it.
Yeah, I'm
look of it.
The 90s hip hop group used the cover.
Camp Low.
Camp Low, yeah, that's the one I'm thinking
their
of.
cover was based on that.
That was it.
That's my dude, man.
Yeah.
That's why you my man, right?
Yeah, I knew there's an album. I remember seeing that, but you definitely see that style. That's figurative art.
Okay.
That's figurative painting where you use figures and
nice.
They're capturing the moment.
Okay. That's exactly what the cover was famous for. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the sort of like how he elongated the figures a little bit. Yeah.
That's a lot of his work.
Yeah.
So Ernie Barnes, Picasso, Salvador Dali. Like, I love that type of art, man, that has like a meaning to it when you look at it. Like, anything that gets my mind going, it's art that I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
So, real quick, man, before we go on this break, where can they follow you at, Justin?
Yeah, on Instagram, it's one lowercase word. It's Randall Sculpture and New Media.
Okay. Jeremy, what about you?
You can just follow me on Facebook at Jeremy Andrew or on Instagram at _JinjaNinja_1.
All right, you can follow Krishan at Krishan_White. Zach is ZWorthy68. Follow me at X, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok at Jéan P the MC. www.jeanpthemc.com. Be sure to follow the podcast, SWYM Podcast, on Instagram. If you're watching us, please like, rate, comment, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. Shout out to Blue. You're going to stick around with us too. Justin, you going to stick around with us for a minute, man?
Yeah.
All right, man. This is Jéan P the MC, episode 152. Say what you mean. We'll be right back. Peace.
Say what you mean what you say.
Episode 152 of the Say What You Mean podcast. We have Mr. Justin Randall in the house. How you feeling, man?
Good, doing great.
Good, man. Thank you for being on the show.
No problem.
Shout out to Blue, man, the coolest dog we done had on the show.
Yep.
Chilling out. Yeah. How's y'all Sunday, man? What y'all got going on today? Just chilling out?
Just chilling. I just got her yesterday while my parents go on a cruise, so it's just a relaxing day. I'm off for the next 2 days.
Nice. It's always good to have an off day and Sundays included. Like,
yeah, because I worked in restaurants for a long time, and I've always had Sundays. Always used to work doubles on Sundays, and corporate restaurants. I've been working in more local restaurants that are closed on Sundays. So
you
nice.
do have some restaurant, like a lot of restaurant experience.
Yeah, it's a nice change that being a non-corporate restaurant for once.
Nice, man. That's what's up. So y'all know how we do it, man. Before we get into the episode, we got to pay some bills. So you know it's sponsor time. You know, our first sponsor being the Hub Art Factory. Shout out to Tim Carmody, man. Justin, man, what's your relationship with the space?
I don't know. About 9 years ago, I moved home from Columbus. I was in school there for sculpture, so I was used to having a studio space I could always work with that was free to use. And then when I moved home, I'm like, I need space to work in. So through Facebook, I found the Hub, which wasn't here when I lived here. So I just emailed Tim And guess who got a hold of me right away? Tim did, and he had a studio space to offer me.
Nice.
So I've had a really great experience. He's like just was always cool, and I was happy he got a hold of me. And I met some great artists through there. From what became like 5 or 6 artists is now like 10 to 15. So it's a great experience.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to Tim Carmody for building these relationships and these spaces with the hub, and you've seen it for so long. Like, you were there at the beginning.
Yeah.
Literally. So shout out to Tim Carmody, man. Also, shout out to Equity House, Latrice Snodgrass, and our first official sponsor, Helmet Heads. Shout out to our first official sponsor, Helmet Heads, where flavor is the main priority. Helmet Heads is a cannabis-based brand owned by cannabis cultivator and connoisseur Jamie Randall Jr. Each batch is carefully crafted in the most organic way possible to ensure a good, smooth, healthy product. No spray terps welcome. It's the baby. IG and Facebook, Helmet Heads Exotics. Got a proud student right here, Mr. Jeremy, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, shout out to Jamie and Helmet Heads, man. Y'all see it right there. First official sponsor. So, Justin, man, let's start from the beginning. Where you from, man?
Hartville.
Hartville?
Hartville with the lake.
Really?
Yeah.
Hartville, huh?
Yep.
Hartville's been like my dream place to live. It's always so beautiful out there, like nice houses.
Yeah, I was lucky to live there. My parents are from a small town. They met in high school, and they picked Hartville, I think, because it was between their jobs, and it was just a good experience. I'm still best friends with 3 other guys that we hang out and go camping every year.
Nice.
So I can't complain. I had a good experience.
Yeah, man, what was it like growing up in Hartville?
It was cool. Like my neighborhood, luckily a bunch of kids. We were about the same age. So it's just cool. We just had a good connection with everybody. Growing up, I was in sports. I was in swim team when I was young. I ran track. I played football till about freshman year. I just got over it and just started. I was always like in between being sort of a rebel punk skater guy and being a jock. So I was like friends with both sides of the. So I got more into playing music and art and skateboarding.
What did you play?
I play bass, electric
Really?
bass. Yeah.
Okay.
I quit for a while. Actually, I picked it up during COVID. I bought a new Fender jazz bass, and been trying to relearn because I took about 2 or 3 years of lessons. So it's cool to get back into that. And
So you were the cool guy in school.
I was something. I don't know if I was the cool guy, but I was something.
Man, you played football, skating.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you were that guy.
Yeah. I just
think
liked
so.
it. I just like being busy. And my parents were always supportive of being an artist and playing sports. They were interested in keeping my brother, I just have one sibling, keeping us active and just always doing stuff.
That's what's up. So you said you played football position.
I liked tight end, but my favorite was defensive end.
Okay.
But I just never got bigger. So I was really skinny and sort of tall, and I was bad with my hands. So I was not a good wide receiver. They wanted to be a tight end, possible receiver. I was like, I'm fast. I was a sprinter, but man, I could not good with the hands, not good catching.
Swimming too?
When I was younger, my parents' schedule changed, but I was on swim team through, it's not there anymore, the Northeast Community Center.
Okay, at Northeast. Okay.
Yeah, so I was on swim team through them for a couple years.
What's like your favorite sport that you played?
I just like track. I was a hurdler and long jumper. Those two were my favorite things to do.
Nice. I want to know more about the skating, man. Like, you talk about being a skater. Did you ever have like a crazy injury?
No, I actually kept a pretty good balance. And I
Yeah.
wasn't that great of a skater. I didn't really do too much, but it was good. I somehow had a great, I just scraped up my knee or my elbow, but I didn't ever broke a bone from it or anything. It was cool because I remember I met cool people. It was like some people from my high school went with. Then I met other people from around this area from McKinley, Perry, and we used to skate at what we called the 13th Street Church down there. And we used to wax the curb up there, and they were cool. They let us do it.
Nice.
And, that was one of the good experiences. One bad one is at the Uniontown Post Office when we used to skate there, someone called the cops on us because they were scared.
They wasn't scared. They just didn't like y'all out there.
Yeah, we're like teenagers, and we're just like, they're just going in to get their mail. Like, we're just on the curb, not just chilling. We never like
didn't be
yelled
like
at
that.
them. We never like, we weren't acting stupid.
Right, man. I ain't had the music loud or nothing. None of that stuff.
Yeah, no.
So when did art kind of come into your life and you realized it was what you really wanted to do?
Definitely high school. I tell you what, I have to give a shout out to Karen Knish, who was my high school art teacher. She was amazing. She just was cool. She just was cool. She just she gave us like a sort of more unique perspective on art, and then especially when we took like the art history part of it, and she just was really cool. She was really like just open to anything, and she was really got me into being more experimental with painting and stuff like that. There's one instance where I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly, and I decided to paint on cardboard. And she's like, well, give it texture. Mix, like, there's stuff called gesso you put on the background to give it a smooth texture. But it says mix dirt in there. Give it some texture. So I did that, and I was like, oh, I'm adding earth into something to give it texture. And I started with that, and I'm like, wow. And it sort of teaches, like, art doesn't have to be just straightforward. You just think, give me a canvas, say paint acrylic on the canvas. It shows that you can use different materials to mix them with the painting. And I think that was really sparked my brain to be like, well, I don't have to be just a straight painter. You don't have to just be a straight, watercolor artist or painter or stuff. You can, like, use different materials and different techniques to do something fun.
Did you have any other mentors that inspired you in your journey in art?
I would say definitely my sculpture professor. Like I said, I earlier mentioned that I was focusing on painting originally, which I love painting, but it just bored me a little bit. So once I took sculpture, Carrie McDougall was a new professor at Kent Stark when I took sculpture, and they just started offering the program. So we had, a new professor, all the material, all the machines and the tools were new. And man, she was cool. She was good. She was one of those professors that was young and fresh and just really had a really good contemporary background and just really was just a really good influence and just really positive feedback on everything that was going on and stuff I worked on.
You said you went to Kent. What year did you graduate?
I didn't graduate.
Okay.
So that's the thing. I went on and off, and then I moved to Columbus like 15, 16 years ago.
Okay.
And then I transferred to OSU as a senior sculpture major. And I got to a point where I used up all my financial aid, and then I couldn't afford to pay for school anymore to finish it up. Yeah, because they wanted to pay. I think the semester for me was like $4,000, and you had to pay it in 3 months. And I just like, I'm fine. I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah, it's a lot of money. I ain't got it right now.
I mean, I would love to have a degree, but it's not important. It's not,
sure.
I know what I'm doing. I have a good background. I had some great professors. And just that was a great experience being at OSU for a bigger school, and just like going in just straight into the sculpture program. I had to take some minor classes still, but it was just a nice experience just going and doing what you love, and with other artists you've never worked with that were sculpture majors too.
What was it like, the art scene in Columbus?
It was cool. Like, it was like there's a lot of diversity there and a lot of different stuff, because you got the Columbus College of Art and Design too.
Okay, shout out Joe Lewis. My homie Joe graduated.
Oh yeah. Good school. It's good. I didn't get too much into it because I sort of was still new and transitioning to knowing everybody. But I went to the gallery shows and stuff around there. I didn't really get more into this type of scene where it's more independent and local galleries, but it was cool. I went to what I could while I was there.
I never asked the artist this, but do you have any pieces that you've done that have been your least favorite?
Hey, man. All the ones I gave to girls when I was
the ones you wish you could have took back.
Yeah.
Like, I made this for you,
yeah,
and now
exactly,
we're not together anymore.
Yeah, I've always been, they were flowers or something I painted for girls.
I feel that way about songs. Like, when I make a song for the girls, I'm like, yeah, I made this song for you, and now it's like we don't even talk anymore. I wish I could take that back. It's two different things, but it's like art.
Yeah,
I feel where you coming from.
If you think about like Fleetwood Mac a bunch, if you listen to Tuss, they're like fighting and hate each other. That whole album's about them like just hating each other pretty much and being fight. That's what music. I mean, think about that. It captures history just like art does. That's a good thing.
It's all good. I'm glad you said your worst stuff was the stuff you made for people that you wish you could take back.
Yep.
Man, let me ask you this. So we talked about the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
How long have you been in that?
Since I was 15.
Really?
Yeah, me and my best friend started off at Dishwashers at Ponderosa.
Oh, Ponderosa.
Back in the day,
man. Best wings. Best chicken.
They did have good wings. I tell you what, they did the breaded kind. They were good. They were good.
Back when it was by Canton Center Mall up here here on Tuss.
We were at the one in Hartville.
Oh, man. What do you remember about Ponderosa and just being in the industry early?
Just the bizarre people I worked with.
The bizarre people?
We didn't last there too long. We both went the more independent route. We went to I went to the Coach House Inn, which was in Greentown, which is like a little family restaurant. And he went to Yoder's, which is another family restaurant in Uniontown.
What's been your most bizarre experience in the restaurant industry?
Man, some people, I wish I could recount exactly, but there's just dealing with really bizarre people that come in, just the public. It doesn't happen too often, but when it does, it's like, what just happened? Like, what's going on?
It's been like, what in the world is going on?
I will give you a terrible story about the most disgusting
Yeah,
thing.
say what you mean. Yeah, we like those.
Yeah, but the most creative way to scam. So sometimes you deal with people that steal or just walk out on bills. So I worked at Macaroni Grill in Columbus, and my friend Levi was bartending. I was serving at the time. And so these ladies come in. They get a drink, and there's no smoking in a restaurant. So they're like, okay, they're going to go outside and smoke, which is fine. They left a purse, and they left a gift card on the table. So 20 minutes go by. We're like, well, they're really talking. It's like, Levi's, we just go outside and see if they're out there. He's like, I don't see him out there. So at that point, we're like, what the hell happened? So we grab the purse, we get the gift card, run the gift card. There's nothing on it. The purse is filled with newspapers.
Oh.
They were that disgusting that they've done this before, where they just buy a cheap ass purse or steal one, and they just steal a gift card.
What?
And they just leave
That's
it.
just tacky.
That is the
smart.
worst. That's worse than walking out. That means that's a
Yeah.
that's a
You set that
premeditated
up.
walkout.
Did they spend a lot of money?
It didn't seem like they did. It seems like they just got a couple drinks, I think some appetizers. But these are like seasoned veterans at that point.
They did the most over some breaded mushrooms.
But yeah, see, we have to deal with stuff like that. Like that's the most. That was the most insane one.
Jeremy, you got any experience in the... Have you ever worked in a restaurant? Or?
Yeah, I mean, my first job was Wendy's, the one when it used to be right next to the Civic Center.
Oh, man, I remember that.
yeah.
You got any bizarre Wendy's stories? Shout out to that Wendy's across the street, too. That's my spot.
Yeah,
Man, I mean, I wouldn't say bizarre. I hated working there on like event days, like whenever there was graduation or something. Oh, okay. Well, I guess the most bizarre thing was there was a homeless guy. Rest in peace to him. You guys might know him, Bird. That's
Oh,
yeah,
man,
everybody
rest in
knew him
peace,
by
Bird. Yeah.
Yeah, he used to come through the drive-thru all the time, and like when people were there, just be like, "Hey, can you give me a cheeseburger?" And we knew automatically who he was. All of a sudden, we'd be like, "Bird, go away from the speaker," and he'd be like, you could hear him. He'd be like, "All right, walk right to the drive-thru, wave at us, and then just walk back down Market or whatever."
Rest in peace, Bird, man.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I love that. I used to work at Rallies back when it was on Touch. Like, Rallies is like a hot box. Like, you can't sit down in there. It's like... Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Like I was like, no, I can't do it. It's hot in there. Do you have a favorite job that you've worked in the industry, like a favorite story or?
No, I just, honestly, everywhere I go, especially becoming a bartender, you meet great people. You have great regulars. Once you be able to talk to people, and they're so nice, and I felt bad. Like each job I leave, I feel bad because you make a connection with people.
Yeah, you do. You build a relationship.
So I can't say there is one person more over the other. I think they're awesome. Like yesterday, I bartended last night. I saw some regulars from Carrabba's I had. And it's just nice that they're nice to me and recognize me and just are like, oh, we miss you there. It's just nice because I just always enjoyed the restaurant. It's something a little different every day, but it always keeps me busy and on my feet. And as long as people are cool and nice, it's like just a great feeling. It's just a great...
You bartend?
Yeah.
What's your specialty like?
I just like making martinis and
you
stuff.
Do?
As long as if you can make a good martini, it's so simple. But if you can make it right, you're in.
What does it take to make a good martini? I don't drink, but I always want to know. Like, what's
so I like gin martinis, but so it's just like getting the right. Like it's just beefeater gin. If you want vermouth, and you just got to shake the shit out of it. Just make sure it's got that little bit of ice on top when you drop it. Just the right proportions. Everything about bartending is just the right proportions.
Jeremy, you like martinis?
I've had a few. My go-to is always a Long Island, though.
Long Island?
I'm very picky with them, though, because some people make them too strong, or they put way too much Coke in them, and it's like...
Or too much sour mix. That's the worst, too. Yeah, you got to make
mix?
it... Yeah, sour mix ruins it, because it's meant to hide the alcohol, but if you put too much in there, if it's a cheap sour mix, it just is terrible.
Ugh. See, man, I tip my hat to bartenders and people that work in the industry. Now, you've been in the industry for years. How is it now with things such as like DoorDash and instant, like, gotta get your food right away? Like, how's the experience been in that?
I would say I'm going to compare it to Carrabba's, where I worked corporate last, to where I work now.
Yeah.
Carrabba's is insane. The way it works is you get so many DoorDash orders there, and it just is, they're busy. I feel bad the kitchen's busy.
Man,
and then I'm getting people. I'm like at like a normal like weekend night, they're getting like 100 DoorDash orders or whatever, and then you're getting tons of people in the door. I feel bad for the kitchen staff. I feel the restaurant industry needs to pay the kitchen staff better. They're getting rocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one that I feel bad. The walkouts, no wonder nobody wants to work in the kitchens is because it's stressful. Like, I feel bad. I left there because there's high stress on me too. Just everything.
I knew during the
high
pandemic, like when the DoorDash was going up, and because those type of places like Robert's, you go in there and you sit down. Like, you know,
Oh, yeah,
now it's
yeah.
like you can order some lasagna, right?
Yeah.
right there, but you got to make multiple. And
Yeah.
like you said, I agree with that. I think the workers should be paid more.
Yeah.
That's a tough,
Yeah.
tough job. On the clock, hours, you making all those orders, drinks.
Yeah.
I tip my hat to y'all.
Yeah, but Bender's isn't like that. We don't really do a lot of DoorDash. We do a decent amount to go. We get a lot of like lawyers and judges and stuff since we're by the courthouse for to go. And lunch is a little bit busier and quick. It's like, but they're quick. The kitchen's quick, but that's more like lunch is more like, okay, we're gonna get your stuff out quick because you probably have to go to court or you have to go to work downtown.
Right.
Dinner's more laid back and chill. They do not do DoorDash. Well, I guess what they've done, which is pretty cool, they do provisional orders, which is a different company. You just do it online, but you get the stuff raw and make it at home.
Okay.
But they don't get too many of those. But they're so busy, they couldn't do to go like DoorDash and stuff like that.
Now, you've been involved with the Hub. I've also seen you be involved with shows. Tell us about your experience with the art shows you've had here at the Hub.
There's been a lot of different ones. I've had 2 solo shows, which were good experiences, and then the Cosmo show with that painting, I liked a lot. They came out great, but they're good experiences. The good thing about shows that someone curates is it forces you to do something in their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And it's sort of cool to challenge myself to like, hey, I have to fit this mold and do this. So it's always fun to like challenge yourself and do something like that.
What's been like one of your favorite challenges when it comes to your art?
Working, like when I work with stuff, I draw it out, I research it, and try to conceptualize what I'm going to do. And I did one for Patina, which was the Bloom show.
Shout out to Bettina.
And that's the one where I did a huge Venus flytrap. So it was like
Another Venus flytrap.
yeah, that's the one I did that I had to learn. I did PVC pipe as the things that I had learned, like how do I bend these without them kinking? And I found a video, hot sand. So I had to like do this annoying process of hot sand in these big PVC pipes to bend them so they don't look janky. And but challenges like that, like learning. I worked with new materials, learning how to use those materials, and making a successful sculpture that people like and they give you compliments on. It's like, you know, I can make something and someone just be like, you know.
Yeah. Do you have any upcoming shows?
Not right now. Right now, it's just research and try to work on stuff. I'm trying to work on a website. And for me, it's just got to look up shows, and I just got to be a little more active and getting out there and putting stuff out there. So I'm just coming up with conceptual ideas and ideas.
What kind of
Sure.
more pieces in art do you want to do? Like, are there ideas that you are working on or things that you want to do in the future and that you would like to share on the show?
Yeah, I would love to do another solo show. I do things that deal with environmental waste, e-waste, and it's just fun to do those because I like to work with nature and just old computer materials or things that go to waste. And I like to make interesting things that people can talk about, like to educate and have people learn about e-waste and stuff like that, or environmental issues, and sort of use these two things of man-made and nature-made and combine them together.
I can see you doing a lot of things during Earth Day. Have you ever done any?
No, that'd be
No?
cool. I think that would be something to look into maybe down here. Try to do an Earth Day.
I
thing.
love
Yeah.
Earth Day art. I love when artists get involved around that time because they come up with so much creative ideas.
Yeah.
Like during certain seasons, during certain holidays. Like, is there like a favorite time of year for you to do certain art? Do you like Christmas, summer, fall? Like, what's your favorite
I think
season?
fall is my favorite, and the spring. I say those two because I tend to do my solo show in the spring. I think I did one in May and one in June, or maybe not. But yeah, I think fall and spring. Fall is my favorite, and I just like the outside. Just feels good. Autumn feels good to do stuff, and I feel motivated. It's not too hot.
Yeah, same here. Like, if it's too hot, I don't feel like doing nothing.
Yeah, man. It's hard to get motivated when it's just hot out, and you're just like, "Ugh."
Jeremy, do you have any questions for Justin?
Yeah, is there like a form of art or even like a medium that you haven't like worked with or some that you want to try to do later on in the future other than what you usually do?
I'm trying to think. Like, I do a little bit of everything because I do printmaking. I need to do a little more digital, so I've been slowly working on doing more like digital things. I think that's just something I've been interested in. 'Cause I bought a digital Wacom tablet thing or a drawing thing to use, and I haven't used it yet. So I need to get that out, start messing around with that. I want to do more video type art too. I want to do, what else? A little sound art. We're using sound.
Yeah.
And I did one at OSU where I did these plants in vases. I put them upside down like they're drowning, and then put them in a hall. And I just did a suffocating noise that we had to do MP3 and had it playing through the hallway like me. And it's
like interactive too.
Yeah. So I like stuff like that, like conceptual art, and I want to do more video sound, and hopefully music a little bit too.
Yeah.
Mess around with the bass.
Put some bass in that art.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on AI?
I think AI is good for certain things. I think it's good. Like for me, if I used an AI prompt, I'm trying to look at something as an image to have an idea, like, oh, how would that work? As using AI prompts as saying it is your artwork and using that, I don't really agree with. I think using it as a tool to help and sort of finalize your idea can be very useful.
Because I see a few people who are calling themselves AI artists, but they're not like visual artists per se. Like someone coming into the hub, like, and it's simply with a prompt. Like the AI is so powerful because you tell it exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Like I remember messing around with it, and like my characters and people I'll make would have like 7 fingers, and 9 arms. And
that's actually a good thing because then you can like bust the people that say they made stuff. The fingers are for some reason AI. The hands aren't there. I don't know. The hands are so deformed all the time.
And if you
facial features sometimes.
And if you tell the AI perfect, it'll make sure like there's nothing wrong. Like I've seen. One of the rappers I like, Jay Worthy, he did an AI music video.
Really?
Yes. Like, and it was theme around Los Angeles. So I'm like, I wonder what prompt he told the AI to make video. So like, I always want to ask the artists their thoughts on AI because some of them love it, some of them hate it, some of them say it's beneficial.
Yeah, I'm in between. I think like the video thing's a good idea. I think you can have fun with it and do stuff. I think passing off art as your original without like sort of disclosing you used AI is sort of not the way to go. I feel it's more of a tool for me to use as an idea, like getting ideas from it. Like, oh, that's going to help me. Like, how's this going to look? Or what's a... So
like an inspiration tool.
Yeah. Sort of as a, just a helping.
Jeremy, you messing around with AI yet?
No. I mean, I don't think I have. I know I have that little AI chat bot on Snapchat. I've never used, but... I don't think I know. Chat GPT was big, but I still haven't messed around with that either.
You tell the AI. I saw a commercial where a guy's daughter was inspired by like an Olympic athlete, and he told AI to write a letter for my daughter about her being inspired by this. I'm like, man, people just don't sit down and write no more.
So they get their own thoughts.
Yeah, that too. Because I'm like, if I'm telling my kid to write a letter to an athlete they look up to, I'm going to tell them write what you feel.
Yeah, because you want to have that heart into it. Because like if they feel that way, you just have a AI that's not their heart into it. Like this person wants to be inspired by that person that they.
Even like when you're chatting with people, like you could chat with somebody on like Instagram, for example. You can text something and then you can make the option make it funnier. Rephrase it. It's like, damn, like AI telling me how to talk. Like,
I can make people laugh. AI, I don't need you.
Yeah, like it's been genuine. Because now, if you're talking to a lady and she's like, "Oh, you're really funny," and you're not funny in person, she's like, "Oh, the AI made you funny."
Oh yeah, you're gonna start being like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, you're not really that guy. You know what I'm saying? So the Jetsons in real life, huh? It's all coming to play.
Oh yeah.
All of it, man. So shout out to AI. So Justin, here's what I want to do, man. I want to take a break, right? I want to do a section called Peace, Positive Point, where you say a quote, Jeremy says a quote, I say a quote that means something to us, then we'll get out of here.
All right.
Episode 152, Say What You Mean podcast. Jean P, the MC, Justin Randall. Peace.
Foot tall.
I love them sessions with the Venus flytrap.
It's always been there.
Episode 152. I'm in. Justin Randall in the house. Justin, I gotta dap you up, man. Thank you for being on the show once again, man. I appreciate you. Dope episode, man. I'm learning my guys are sculptors, Chase and Jeremy. Jeremy, what did you say you put together?
It was a giant metal robot. Here's a picture of it. That was like before we got to grind it down and
Yeah,
everything.
man. I'm learning all these great things about my guys on the Say What You Mean podcast. Again, no Zach, no Krishan. Zach is handling his CDL. He's getting his certifications. Shout out to my guy,
Shout out to Zach.
Shout
Yeah,
out.
man. Shout out to Seaweeds. He's with the little one, baby Xavier. So he's holding it down. He's on maternity leave. You know what I'm saying? Holding it down. So, what y'all got planned today? We just chilling out on this Sunday. We relaxing.
Oh yeah, just chilling out.
This is a beautiful Sunday,
Yeah.
man. I'm off tomorrow, so taking a break from the mail.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Nice break. Love it, man. Want to enjoy this weather while we can before that S word comes from the sky. We don't want to speak that into existence yet.
I do.
You with the snow? You like the snow?
I love the snow. I love
Jeremy,
the snow.
no.
I love the snow. I
No.
I hate
no. You like the snow, Justin?
I'm thinking persistence fall weather.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Up until October, I actually can look forward to the October weather.
Yeah.
Like the October nights where the leaves is turning. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Put on the crew necks. I actually will hang out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When it's not too cold, but then like when it gets windy, I'm like, yeah, it's time to go in the house.
Yeah. We used to go camping in October because it's always warm during the day. Then we could have fires at
You
night.
perfect.
Yeah. As long as it didn't get too cold at night, it wasn't bad.
October is like that median right there. Because this past summer, man, global warming, but it's been hot as hell.
It's been real hot.
Real hot. Everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It ain't, it's just one place. It's everywhere it's hot.
Yep.
Everywhere. So,
Yeah, we just went hiking in Virginia and it was 90 plus degrees. We went up McAfee's Knob, which is a high peak, and then just like, geez.
So you did some traveling, huh, Justin? Where you been around the world, man?
Just in the U.S., I did the biggest thing I did. Like my friends said, would go camping, but it's mostly East Coast stuff.
Okay,
Like
okay.
from
So you haven't
anything
gone
Virginia, West
international yet?
Virginia. What?
Haven't gone international?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
But I took a solo road trip to Colorado, down to Taos, New Mexico, around the St. Louis and
Ooh.
home. That was fun.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Jeremy, what about you, man? You got any trips planned? Are you traveling? Or
I mean, I want to eventually take a little solo trip to Texas.
me too. Comedy.
Yep. Yeah, I want to check out Joe Rogan's Comedy Mothership.
Yeah.
It's really about it. I might take like a trip sometime next year to Orlando Studios.
I'm trying to plan next year, man. Like every time I get on TikTok, 'cause, social media, they be showing you places in the world you don't even know existed. You like, oh man, that's a nice place.
Yeah. I have a friend in Italy, and I just never go. We went to elementary school, middle school together. My parents emigrated from here, and then they moved back, like at the end of middle school, and then we connected on Facebook, and she's out there.
Where'd they immigrate from?
Italy, from
Really?
outside Bologna.
Okay.
And then through Facebook, we got connected again. We talk on WhatsApp, and we've been friends for years. And I have an in. I just never
That's what's up.
never do it. I need to just do it and go.
Go, man.
You
Let's
know?
check it out. See, one thing about social media though is like it feels like the world becomes smaller with social media. Because like I saw a reel yesterday, and it was a place in China, right? And they got a neighborhood that's on top of a building. And like one of the places, like it's like an apartment building, but a train goes through it. And I was like, that is crazy, right? But then I'm like, everybody finna go there now just for Instagram.
Oh yeah.
I would love to go there, like, just to go. You know what I'm saying? But the tourism, man, it's like,
Yeah, once that blows up and just everyone's like, oh, you got to go see this. I know China's got this one beautiful waterfall people are going to go see, and that blew up. And I don't know if they're still going because they got like sort of like called out because they had pipes they saw coming out, but they said it's because of they want to keep it beautiful because the tourism.
I understand.
When it goes slow, sometimes it flows, not as much as they want. But
I saw a video where some people, like a lot of places where people are touring, the cost of living is going up. And I seen in Spain, there was some tourists over there, and the people from Spain was spraying them with water guns. Like, it was like, get out of here, man. But
that's crazy.
that's people are moving because America, on what they on, so people are getting out of the country. And I guess they're trying to move to Spain, but they're like, nah, y'all raising the price up. Cost of living is already good up here.
Yeah. I saw some people trying to go over to Italy and had bought cheap property and remodel.
They probably was telling them to get up out of here.
Yeah, there was something I saw posted that they were trying to get people to move to Italy because the economy's so bad that people left.
Really?
Italy, yeah. The economy said that Marilena, my friend, has been job to job because the economy's so bad there, and they're trying to get people to move. I'm sure they had a lot of people leave the country to better jobs because Marilena, my friend, moved to London, worked in London for a while, and
I deliver some mail in Italy.
yeah,
I don't know what
I go
the
over
mail's
there.
called over there. Yeah, I deliver some mail out there.
Yeah,
What's one of the places over there where they say it's going underwater? Like it's
Venice
Venice
has the canals through it. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I could deliver some mail, have a canal, boat, yeah.
Boat up.
I do, right? That'd be interesting, man. But y'all know how we do it, man, on the podcast, man. Peace, positive point. We love ending the podcast on a positive point. Who wants to kick it off? You got a quote for us?
I do.
Go ahead.
So Salvador Dali, there's 2 quotes he had.
Nice.
One I love that he always said, I always thought it was so cool. He said, I don't do drugs, I am drugs.
Oh.
And if you know Salvador Dali, it makes perfect sense because he's so bizarre. And I've always had an obsession with him ever since high school. Like I said, my art teacher, Karen Kanish, was amazing. And we took art history.
Yeah.
And she told us about the 3 times he died, apparently. And he's just an interesting guy. He didn't really die, but he just there's just these rumors and stories going on about him. But that was always an interesting quote. The other one is, have no fear of perfection. You'll never reach it. And I love that idea of don't obsess over something. Your idea of perfection is never going to be met if you live in that headspace. Like, just always be like, well, this is good. This is great. I'm there. I'm happy with this.
For sure. I like that quote, man. Can you say that one more time, the second one?
Yeah. Have no fear of perfection. You'll never reach it.
I dig that. Jeremy, what you got for us today?
I got a quote by Iron Man.
Nice.
It's called "It's not about how much we have lost; it's about how much we have left."
What's that mean to you?
I mean, that's just a big thing for me. Is not dwelling on the past, just moving forward, trying to make it through to the next day. So I think that's just something everybody needs to focus on. Something I need to work on definitely
sure.
more of.
Absolutely.
100%. And my quote is from the great Vincent van Gogh. He says, if you hear a voice within you say you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced. To me, that means, like, if something's telling you you can't do it, not be creative, just go for it anyway. Sometimes your intuition and voices that tell you stuff that you shouldn't do, like, oh, just sit down. You don't got to do nothing. But sometimes doing it. I had a moment yesterday. Like, I was like, oh, I don't feel like making no beats. You can't make that beat. And then I just did it. And it came out way better than I expected. So sometimes actually doing it versus listening to your thoughts, which aren't always right, depending on the situation, it leads you to a great output. So that quote, again, is from the great Vincent van Gogh. And it says, if you hear a voice within you say you cannot paint, then by all means paint. And that voice will be silenced.
Yeah, I agree. Like, when I'm over at my apartment, I live across the street, if I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to bum around. But if I force myself and come over here to do something, then I'm going to work.
Yeah.
You can't just sort of listen to that voice like, oh, just chill, watch TV. Go do it. Like, start doing it, and then that gets you going.
Because your body will tell you, like, no, you can't
Yeah.
do it. Because especially my routine, I'm working so much. So I'm like, man, I don't feel like it. But my mind will
I
be
feel
like,
you.
you can do it. You've had that idea sitting in the back of your head all day. You had that sample or that rhyme in the back of your head all day. Don't just let it sit there. Don't let it die out. And then it'll come out.
Yep.
And you execute it. So
I start every day when I take a shower. Listen to music. Just get motivated. Put something on that you can sing or moves you and get going for the day.
what you put on this morning?
I just put on my shuffle list, but
Yeah.
everything, like, I'm trying to see what played. Who knows? It's everything. Like, there's anything from De La Soul to,
Gotta put some De La.
I don't know what else, just random stuff.
Were you happy when they put all the De La's albums back on streaming?
I love it.
And it was on my birthday. Like, when they did that, I was like, yes. Last year when they put it on.
I'm
there.
so happy they did that too. There was such a, like, I miss listening to this. Like, we were talking about cassette tapes. I had them on CD, cassette tapes. I'm pretty sure I had De La Soul Dead on cassette tape. I know I had 3 Feet High and
That's
Rising.
one of my favorite albums. De La Soul is Dead.
Man, Biddy's in the Burger King bathroom.
Yes, man.
I love the play on that.
That
the
whole
back and
album was
forth.
a concept.
Yeah, the
I
back
loved
and
it.
forth on it. Oh man, they're just so good.
Love De La Soul. I'm glad their music back on streaming, man. Like, love De La Soul. So, what y'all got planned today, man? Any shout outs when we get out of here?
Just shout out to my fellow hubbians that hopefully be here working later. I'll probably do something here and just hang out with the dog since I started dog sitting today.
Yeah, shout out Blue. She's chilling now.
Yeah, dude, she's good.
Jeremy, you got any shout outs?
Just shout out you guys, Zach or Sean, Chase. That's really about it.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my man Justin for being on the show. Shout out to Chase. Shout out Zach. Shout out Krishan. Shout out Jeremy. Shout out to Jordan, too, for really helping us with this video work. He's been editing our past episodes, but he's been teaching me and Chase how to get this going, man. So I'm appreciative of the help, the team. You guys come in, man. Shout out to the guys. They've been working, handling their business. The listeners, the viewers. I did a recent reel on TikTok or Instagram. I be trying to go viral. That reel is sitting on 87,000 plays. So
Awesome.
shout out to the people.
Shout out to the
viral people. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I was just walking past some dogs. It was like a house that had like 8 Rottweilers, and I started doing the Lord's Prayer, but I was so scared I forgot the prayer. So I was like, good. I forgot. But yeah, people are watching it. So shout out to all those people watching that reel on Instagram, man. We just chilling out today. So we're going to see y'all next week, man. This is Jean P, the MC, Justin, Randall, Jeremy in the house, Chase in the house. Say What You Mean, episode 152. Peace.
Yeah.
Say what you mean what you say. I'm from the